everyone. Welcome to the Real Estate Speedcast. We think we're on episode 15. Not really sure, but it is what it is. And here I am with Juan Castro. Hey,
Hey
Juan.
guys, Juan Castro here.
And what are we going to talk about today, Juan?
Today, I was hoping to talk about some of the fear mongering I see on Facebook and Instagram about how Florida is on fire in a free fall of pricing.
Yeah, the market's crashing here,
The
right?
market is
I mean,
crashing,
that's what
people
I
are
read this
saying.
morning. I read it must be true if I read it on Facebook.
Yeah, yeah. And it's funny that I looked up the person who was speaking to this Facebook post, right?
Yeah.
He probably has sold 30 houses in 10 years
Oh, he was a realtor that said that in Florida or in
in
another state?
Florida.
In Florida.
In Florida.
So
So
just
it was
for
interesting.
perspective, how many homes were 5 months through the year? How many homes have you closed on this year?
About 20, yeah, 2021.
Yeah, me too. Exactly that. So to do 30 in how many years did you say?
Ugh, 10 years.
10 years, right? So that's like three a year. So it doesn't really know what the market is if we're doing 20 in 5 months.
Yeah, yeah.
So
It is slower.
100%. I
It
feel
is
that. I
slower.
feel it being slower.
Yeah, it's turned into a buyer's market.
100%. But I
And
have
it was
a question on a buyer's market, maybe off topic, but if it's a buyer's market, why aren't buyers jumping on that?
they still fear the interest rate.
Okay. I'm just like,
It's just
buyer's market,
math.
let's go, let's do this.
I know. It's just math.
Yeah,
I think if somebody did math for them, they would feel a little bit safer. But I think there's also that spread of the rate on cars, student loans, credit cards. When the pain point goes up in column A, it's also affecting B, C, D, E, F.
right, right.
So I think it's just a little bit of that fear factor. But then imagine you go on Facebook and you're just clicking through and you're just watching real estate videos from people that are telling people, wait, wait, wait.
Right. The market's going to crash. The prices are going to come down. They're falling. You're going to get that $500,000 house at 250 or whatever.
Yeah.
It's not, I mean, that realistically happened in 2008, right? Prices,
And
but
that
in
was a
different
different
seasons.
implosion.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was when customers were doing an 80-20 mortgage or an 80-26 mortgage where they were rolling in the 6% closing cost. So they were financing basically what we call the 106%.
Right, right.
Then the market started to turn, or their adjustable mortgages became due, their 3-year arms or 2-year
Yeah.
arms or
Balloon
LIBORs, all these
payments
crazy products, right?
and a
Yeah.
lot of people really didn't even qualify for those mortgages. That's why there's a lot more federal guidelines, right? When you apply for a mortgage.
There was no income, no asset mortgages.
Yeah, which is
If
crazy.
you had good credit, you were buying 3 or 4 houses.
Yeah, it didn't matter if you could afford them. So then it came to a point where they couldn't afford them. Prices did significantly drop after 2008 everywhere, not just Florida, everywhere.
Yeah, yeah, everywhere. But I think the key is like I was looking at some of the Redfin data because, of course, we
Yeah.
absorb a lot of that data, right? So I'm looking at my second screen. The median price today is 410,
Okay.
which is a 3% drop from last year.
Okay. So
So
that was maybe
418. So that
40.
house that was 415 to 418 today is worth 402, 403.
Not really changing your mortgage payment that much, maybe $70, $80 a month.
Yeah, it's not a crash.
No, that's not a crash.
It's not a crash. It's a slight adjustment. Absolutely, yes, but it's not a
An
crash.
adjustment that may have been needed, right?
Yeah. Yeah, well, it was accelerating too fast.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest, it was too fast.
Mhm.
The number of homes sold over the last 12 months, I'm looking at the data, 34,000 almost sold in Florida
In
in the
12
last
months.
12 months,
Okay.
which is about a 9% drop
Okay.
over last year.
Okay.
So not huge,
No, not
but
a huge
a
drop. So
10% drop, right?
people are still buying, people are still moving to Florida.
Yes.
They are still
And
buying homes here.
yeah, and we looked that up together, right?
Yeah.
So in history, it's always been like a 3-to-1 ratio, or maybe a high 2-to-1 ratio. So one person leaves Florida, 2 or 3 people move in.
Right.
So today, when you looked, you said it was, I
Close to
think it was a
about
one and a
one and
half.
a half. Yeah. So if
So
one and a half people move in, one leaves, but it also says that Florida's population could increase by 1.4 million people by 2030. That's only 5 years.
exactly. So
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 that's
there are
still a
some
lot of
other areas
growth
that are
in,
performing better,
yeah,
you
with
know,
people coming into Florida and a lot of reasons, right? Why would people come to Florida? No state income.
taxes,
Yeah, no state income tax,
weather,
weather,
taxes.
lifestyle.
Yeah,
I mean, the lifestyle switch, I know because I came from New Jersey, the lifestyle switch is huge, right?
yeah,
You could be
yeah,
outside all year round. It's not depressing like the winter months in the north. Because it does get
yeah, yeah,
depressing. It gets dark really early there, like 4:30, it's dark. It's cold, you don't want to be outside, you know. I think mentally it does something, and I don't like the
yeah.
temperature.
And the cost of living here is not crazy bad, to be honest. I mean,
No, it's not.
it's
I
not as
think
good as it used to be.
right. And I think coming from the Northeast, I thought the cost of living in Florida was going to be so much less money. What is really less are property taxes,
Yes, yes,
significantly less here, no state income tax. But
yes,
car insurance is this, I bet it was going to be cheaper in Florida. It's about the same. I think we have a lot of crazy drivers. We have a lot of people coming here retiring, and a lot of people here on vacation that don't know our roads. So when you get on the road
yeah.
with them and they don't know where they're going, it causes
Accident rate's
out there.
probably a little bit high.
Yeah, so I think that increases our rates. So my insurance stayed the same. Cost of food, I don't know. I think it's pretty same. Gas is pretty much the same as New Jersey.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
none of that has changed. I think it's more property taxes and income tax where it saves
yeah,
people money to move here.
yeah. And then what was else was interesting to me is that um, the average days on market right now, the latest data is 65 days on average for Florida in general.
Right.
So we know that people have been conditioned to believe I'm going to put my house for sale, I'm going to be a little bit aggressive, and I'm going to get multiple offers in the first 5 to 7 days. And it doesn't happen. So we're not running a 1 or 2K anymore.
Right.
We're running a marathon.
Yeah.
So you have to do things properly in the beginning.
Right in the beginning, you overprice it, you're done.
Yeah, or it elongates the process, right?
Yeah.
So it goes
65
way
days, you
beyond
say
65
65
days.
days on the market, it's technically 65 days till they get an offer accepted and that home goes pending. It's
Yeah,
not 65 days to close date. So when
correct.
65 days they get their home under contract, it could still be another 30 days for it actually closes. So a Florida seller is looking at from start to finish about 90 days.
Yeah, 3 to 4 months, right, on
Yeah,
average.
yeah,
So we're going to be working with them for 3 to 4 months. I
right.
just got a listing today that I did not win 6 months ago
Then they came back,
because of price. An agent they talked to agreed to list at a higher price.
of course.
They chased the market down to my number, thinking it would finally work. It did not work
No,
because the market has moved probably another 2 to 3%, right? That's what
right,
the
you
data
were trying to
says.
be ahead of that curve, right? So that curve that's going down, if when you, okay, so I'll do it up here. So if the curve is
Yeah.
coming, you have to price it right where it's going, not where it's been.
Yeah, because otherwise you start chasing.
Yeah, we don't need to do that.
So their last price was my initial list price from 6 months ago.
And
So
now they
now
told
we're
you
going to
you're gonna list
price,
their home where, how much less in percentage wise are you going from where you originally would have listed it 6 months ago?
about 3 to 4%.
You are, okay. And you think,
And that is right there.
yeah.
But
So
they're
if they
so,
listed it right the first time, potentially they would have made more money, right? Because now you're even listing it lower. And that's what a lot of people that not listing it right can cost you money because now you're reducing, you're reducing, you're reducing. and then people are looking online, seeing your home's on the market for a long time, you keep dropping the price, something must be wrong with the house. And that's not true, but that's
It's
what
nothing.
people
Yeah.
think in their brain, right? Something
Yeah.
must
Yeah.
be
The
wrong.
perception is there could be something there that I can't see
Right,
or I can't feel or smell. And
right.
then I look at the history of what this agent had recommended to the customer, and I noticed that they were doing $1,000 price reductions.
That's the worst.
So they're giving a signal to all of the agents and all of the customers that
Yeah,
I am not negotiable.
I'm not negotiable.
I'm
I'm not
I'm
playing
not
with
willing
nothing.
to
I'm
to
just trying to
consider
get my
something.
listing back out there, get it back to the top, and I'm not gonna negotiate
It
anything.
doesn't work.
No,
It doesn't work.
yeah.
But I did have some interesting things here. So let's see here. How many homes sold above list price for the last 12 months?
Well,
How many do you,
can I take a
what do you
guess?
think? Yeah, take a guess.
Percentage
Above
wise?
list price,
Percentage?
percentage.
10%.
Wow.
Did
You
I
must
get
have
it?
read this before. It's 10.3%.
What do I win? Do I win something tonight?
You would win my listing if it was me because you know the numbers.
I didn't know it.
Um,
That was just a guess. So 10%.
so what that teaches me is that their customers, that their agents are giving them the truth, they're
Hmm.
framing it correctly, they understand what the market's telling them, they're going out at a competitive price,
Right.
and they're still getting one or two offers above list price. 1 out of 10 people are
If
selling.
you if you're below that curve, right? So let's use a number. So say the neighbor's house is listed at 400, right? But you know that might be a little bit too high. So you list this home, same home at 390, you're going to promote more people going to that house, more people making offers and competing for that, maybe pulling it up over that 400.
Yeah, because a buyer will negotiate against themselves when the perception is
No,
other people are
if they
coming.
just think that they win,
Yeah,
even though
yeah,
they may have just overpaid for the house, but they won. They went,
yeah. But the value's there, so it actually
yeah, I mean, it gets appraised
closes.
values there, it's fine, but yeah,
Yeah, yeah. And then the data showed here how many homes have price drops within the first 65 days? 32%.
I was gonna guess. I was gonna say
Oh,
50 though.
okay. Well, you're going to guess the last one. But that's interesting to me that
Yeah,
32% of people are reducing the price within 65 days.
yeah,
You would think that would be 100%.
right, yeah. Yeah, you would think,
So,
yeah.
so
Because
that's why
if
there's
it
more
doesn't sell in
listings.
65 days, what are you doing? You're just letting it sit there?
So that's why there's more listings today than buyers today.
Yeah,
Because half of the listings out there, probably 60% of them, are not really trying to sell.
right. There's a lot of them are just testing. I want to get what my neighbor got. I hear it all. But like if those buyers would realize, hey, this is your time. This is your time to negotiate, get your closing costs paid, get your rate bought down, get all the things. It's your time. It's a buyer's market. Get out there and do it.
Yeah, yeah, you just need a good agent to help you identify
Yeah.
the
What's
ones
the
that are
last number
priced
you were going to
correctly,
tell me?
right?
Yeah, you need an agent that's actually going to work for you and
Yeah,
negotiate and get you things that you need.
yeah, I tell people all the time, you pick the houses, experience them, tell us what you like,
Yeah.
and then you give us your goals and we
Mhm.
will go after it.
Yeah.
If it doesn't work, we'll find the next one.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes you're up against a tough listing agent like Juan Castro. Did that.
Yeah, you never know. I'm
Sometimes
not
it's
that
really
bad.
tough. I'm like,
I'm not that bad. I'm a deal maker, not a deal breaker.
I'm only kidding.
Yeah.
What's the last
So
number? What was the
the
last?
last one is sale to list price. So when somebody gets to a certain number and a
Yeah.
buyer makes the offer, what do you think that number ends up compared to their list price? Like their
Percentage.
most recent list price. Yeah.
The most recent list price, today's market in Florida, 94%.
It's actually 96.5%.
Ooh, well, higher than I thought.
Yeah, the norm is 97 to 98% of list price if you're
Yeah.
priced correctly.
Oh, right, because they've already taken their price reductions.
So,
Okay, so
so
that
the
makes sense.
difference is they've probably done 2 or 3 price changes,
Right.
right?
Yeah,
So when you figure from the time that they initially listed to the time it is today, it's probably more around the 88,
probably. Yeah.
90%. because they
And if they
just had to
listed
take
it
some
correctly in
time.
the beginning, they would have probably gotten 100%.
97 to 98
Yeah, yeah.
is what they would have
And a
probably
quicker
gotten.
sale, and they wouldn't have been paying that mortgage payment, those taxes and all those things as it's in
Yeah.
the market, because there's a cost to hold it.
Yeah. And then, I did watch a podcast from a very interesting agent who actually does a high level of production. And he was talking about the unicorn right now is new construction in a lot of Florida areas,
100%. I tell my buyers all the time,
right?
just go to new construction. Number one, it's brand new. Nobody's lived in there.
Incentives,
Incentives, of course. Closing
warranty.
costs are being paid, your rates being bought down. You're getting 10-year warranty, at least on structural, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And then, so your AC's warranted, maybe it's a year from the builder, but then you have the manufacturer's warranty for 10 years. Like, it's good. You don't have to do anything. If something goes wrong, you call them. You know what I found really interesting? So a friend of mine is a new construction sales rep, right?
yeah.
And he recommends to do your home inspection, not before you close on the home. Everything's covered. Do it after you close.
And
Close
then you
the
can
home.
submit it in.
Then you submit it in for your warranty work. You get it all done. It's kind of
That would make sense because I've had new construction people tell us to do a home warranty before the anniversary date of the 12 months.
right. Yeah, that too.
And because, you can check all the systems and make sure they're performing the way they're supposed to,
Right.
especially over a little bit of time.
Yeah. So get it done then while it's still under warranty and get all those things fixed after you go into
Yeah.
you close.
Yeah. So he was mentioning new construction
Yeah.
and he had a very good point, and we see this in our listings today. If you're going to buy new construction, you need to buy with the intention of staying for 5 to 7 years.
Wow, 100%. So I'll tell you this. I have a listing that I acquired from somebody that has moved on from Redfin, right?
Yeah.
Winter Haven, list it right, price wise. The photos look great. Everything's great about it. It's not moving. So, I don't know if they're going to take it off the market. We can't really price drop it because it'll be under what they paid for it. And they don't have the cash to bring to the closing.
Yeah.
So they may have to keep it. But when I'm looking at it and I'm looking at, of course, it's sitting, they're still building in the community.
Exactly.
That builder is selling it at the same price. That's fine. It's not price, but the builder is buying down the rate. They're paying the closing costs. The home is now brand new.
Yep.
Nobody's lived in it. So why would a buyer pick the resale home down the street unless it had a super lot that they can't get anymore, right?
Yeah.
Because even these new construction builds, you're getting in 30 days anyway. You're not
Yeah.
waiting a year, most builders, unless you're doing,
Yeah. They've got some product ready.
yeah. So a lot of them have quick move-in, and on the quick move-in homes, they give them the best deals because the builder it's ready. They want to get rid of it.
Yeah. No, you're right. And I think that's the problem people don't think about is that you're going to get a great deal going into new construction. You cannot compete with the builder until they leave the neighborhood,
Exactly. So you can't sell your home until they're done.
until they're out of there. And it could be 4 or 5 years.
Yeah. I got lucky. So I think I may have told you this, but I sold somebody a new construction home in Waterlay and Winter Garden. So it was higher end new
Oh,
construction.
yeah.
They paid like $735 in December. Something happened. They needed to go back home to Minnesota. Fine. So they needed to sell it in April. I don't remember.
Wow.
April. And I'm like, oh my God, because they're still building there. But their phase is sold out. The new phase isn't ready yet. We listed the home about $50,000 above what they paid a few months ago, but they did things. They had a cabinet, a laundry room, they put a fence in, they did some things.
Yeah.
Right?
Improvements. Yeah.
They did, even though it was new. And first day on the market, we get a cash offer. That's
Wow. And
not normal. Okay. So that's not normal.
but that's somebody that's buying that does not have the time to wait.
Right. They wanted that model. They don't have time to wait till phase 5.
They don't need the builder buy down of the rate.
No, no, because they're paying cash. So
because
they
they're paying
also are
cash.
minimal on a cash purchase, right? So
Yeah,
it's not an incentive for them to go to a builder if you're gonna.
exactly. So that's where you got lucky,
I got lucky
was
today
that
with
the
cash.
buyer was a unicorn
Yeah.
and you were kind of a unicorn in availability at that moment, and it all lined up
It
perfectly.
worked out like seamless for me.
Yeah,
And then they
yeah.
bought with Redfin again in Minnesota. They had bought with Redfin previously. I mean, they're just Redfin customers.
Yeah.
Before we go, do you have anything else on this? Because I want to bring up one more thing.
No, I'm good. Keep rolling.
So I heard that today was a big day for Rocket Redfin.
Oh, was it?
The vote happened. The shareholders, I believe, approved it.
Oh, I voted for
Probably should look
mine.
before I say that, but I think it got approved like one step closer to the merger.
Oh, that is fantastic. I
Yeah.
voted 2 weeks ago.
Oh yeah, because you could do it like yeah,
I did mine by phone 2 weeks ago because I just do everything fast.
yeah.
Just kind of get it over with.
So
So
how
I'm really excited
actually
for
good.
it. Yeah. So on our next podcast, I will be in Detroit
Okay.
meeting with Rocket
That's so exciting.
and with Redfin, our top producer council.
When is that? When are you meeting with them?
I will be there, I believe it's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Next week?
So we're going to be doing our recording over Detroit.
Let's do it from
So
Detroit. We talk about,
I might have something to share. I'm hoping.
yeah, that will be so fun. Something to look
Yeah,
forward to. I'm super excited about this, and I think we're getting really close.
we're almost there.
Yeah.
We're almost there. So that's kind of what we had for today. We just wanted to give buyers and sellers some assurance that we're not in a free fall. It's not a firestorm. It
No.
is a bit of a correction.
Yeah.
It is a
But
bit of a
again, buyers can
correction.
get really good deals now, especially with new
Yeah,
construction. But one
yeah,
more thing about new construction before we go, they a buyer should still be represented.
absolutely yes.
That's the part some people don't get. You need to go represent it. Have
Well,
somebody on
yeah,
your side.
yeah, and I would say that for two reasons. You want to know what you're signing,
Yeah,
so you want to have an agent with you there who hopefully has done new construction, knows how to read those contracts.
right.
And we
Because
can do
they're
that.
long. Their contracts are long.
They're
Wow.
long, they're very one-sided.
Yeah,
You've got to understand that even though they're going to cover some of your closing costs or 10,000 in closing costs, you have to know that the builder pushes a lot of their fees
yeah.
over to the buyer side.
Mhm.
So the benefit is not really 10,000, it may be $3,800.
It may be. Some builders are paying it all. They're just
Yes,
running
some of them
cash.
are paying it
And they're
all.
also doing prepaids, which some builders are doing prepaids and other ones will not do prepaids.
But you
It's
see how
our
it's,
taxes, insurance, and HOA if nobody knows that. But yeah.
yeah, but you can see how it's becoming a different world. And you have to kind of know those questions to ask to get the answer for the customer.
And sometimes the deal they give you is not their best deal.
Yes, and we can get
A lot of
incentives.
times it's not their best deal.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I've gone
Like going to a
in.
car dealership, you start walking out, they're gonna maybe come back with something a little bit better.
Yeah, I know some of the new construction reps when I go in and they'll tell me, just send me an offer.
Yep.
And those, I haven't heard that in years.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
mean, man, a property that's listed for 595 and they're saying that they're doing a sale of 565 for a quick move in.
And then make
And
me an
they're
offer.
telling me, send me an offer, and I'm telling them it might be like 540. And
Yeah.
you might still be paying closing cost. And you might still be buying the rate down from 7.25 to 6.25.
Right.
And
Exactly.
they're like, send me the offer.
Send it
So
in.
it's a
Send it in.
very,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
the time. It really is the time to get a
Yeah.
great deal on new construction. I love
And
it.
the buyer representation commission is built into the transaction already.
Yeah. It's not like if you don't have a buyer's agent, you're gonna get that money. You're not.
No, no, they're going to
Buyers
keep it
have to,
in-house.
so it costs them nothing. The builders are paying it.
Yeah,
Be represented, get the best deal that you can.
yeah.
I
Now, did
remember when
you?
there was other offers, but it was the opposite way. When the market
Yeah.
was crazy, people were making offers on new construction. It was highest and best.
Yeah, I remember. I remember the lotteries too.
Yeah, crazy, right? I don't remember lotteries, but I can see that
I
happen.
remember the lotteries. There'd be 1,000 people for one lot in one
Yeah,
house.
Did
and they
you?
would call you and you'd have to pay that price that you put on there.
Yeah,
Um,
that's not,
it was kind of too much
that's
to go
why
on.
now it's better because it is a buyer's market, so the buyers are getting
Yeah,
deals and that's
yeah,
what we like to see, you know, especially with the builders. I'd like to see the buyers win.
yeah, yeah. So I think the key is that a good agent determines what's the buyer's end use, like what their final use is,
Yeah,
so they can help give them some answers to some questions that they won't even know to ask.
right.
And that way we could help them fulfill the strategy they're trying to do
Yeah,
for the time frame they're hoping for.
right, exactly.
And if they get a
They need to hold
surprise,
it. They need to hold
yeah,
it for 5 years.
yeah, if they get a surprise, we can help them, but the best intention is to fulfill the strategy you're hoping for,
Yeah, for
you
sure.
know. But yeah, so I guess that's it for us tonight.
All right, I'm looking forward to next week.
Next week will be cool.
All right, I will talk.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye, everyone.